Joe Rogan just ended Gavin Newsom's career. Gavin Newsom is having a full-blown public meltdown because Joe Rogan refused to have him on his podcast. And instead of accepting that reality like an adult, Gavin instead resorts to groveling and begging. And when that didn't work, Gavin resorted to childish and petty attacks. Gavin Newsom is so desperate, so entitled, so self-obsessed, he can't fathom why Joe Rogan wouldn't want to waste 2 hours of his life listening to Gavin Newsom lie and doing his weird, awkward hand gestures. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Guys, we hit 500,000 subscribers. Thank you to every single person who supports the channel and tunes in daily. I love you guys. I really appreciate it. But let's start with this hilarious first clip of Gavin Newsom desperately begging to be on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Well, yes. You start with Joe Rogan, so I'm going to start cursing.
He wants to be president so bad.
The governor of the most populous state and the host of one of the most popular podcasts are feuding.
This is Gavin Newsom.
California Governor Gavin Newsom, who hosts his own podcast, has invited Joe Rogan onto his show and publicly asked to be invited onto Rogan's show.
Joe, why won't you have me on the show? He won't have me on the show. It's a one way. And he has guests coming and attacking and bashing, but he will not have me on the show, period. Full stop. He should have me on the show. Come on my show, Joe.
Gavin Newsom is so deceitful. He's so dishonest. And when he's not lying, he's giving you these word salad answers combined with these weird, awkward gestures that make you feel uncomfortable. And Joe Rogan likes to engage in open, organic conversation that isn't suppressed by Democrat establishment focus group talking points or masked and convoluted by nonsensical political jargon. Gavin Newsom spins every conversation into why Donald Trump is bad, why California is so amazing, why Gavin Newsom is the best politician to ever live. Political ambition is so ingrained in Gavin Newsom's DNA that he has shed every ounce of humanity he has and replaced it with the worst robotic stereotype of what a politician is. He only speaks in campaign slogans and meaningless platitudes. But because he's Gavin Newsom, the big bad governor of California, he feels as if he's entitled to go on Joe Rogan's show. And Joe Rogan claps back at his desperation by absolutely humiliating Gavin.
Rogan doesn't seem impressed by a potential Newsom presidential run in 2028.
You can't ruin a city and then go on to ruin a state and say, guys, that was just practice.
I know.
Once I get it as a president, I'm going to fix it. Fix it all.
I mean, it's so crazy, but he's such a great politician. I mean,
no,
he's so smooth.
He's
not,
not,
you think
though.
so?
No, I think he's terrible.
Rogan attacking Newsom's job performance in California.
You have the highest unemployment.
Yeah.
You have the highest homelessness.
Look what they did with Hollywood.
Money's missing. You killed Hollywood. Like, Hollywood doesn't exist anymore. It's literally gone.
Newsom responding to Rogan on X, posting California is the 4th largest economy in the world, but #1 in manufacturing, farming, new business starts, tech and VC investments, Fortune 500 companies, public higher education. I could continue. Invite me on anytime, Joe Rogan.
It was all that before you were there. It was all that forever. It's because the weather's perfect, man. It has nothing to do with you.
Newsom's team posting this photo on X, writing that, quote, little Joe is snack size because he can't handle full-size debates.
I'm not afraid to go. I'm punching Joe Rogan, okay? That son of a bitch not used to that. And he's going to dismiss it. He's going to laugh it off. I mean, tough guy, all that. But he's going to have me on.
He is like a teenager, so desperate for attention. I don't know how his wife doesn't wake up embarrassed every single morning when she looks at him. And that's the problem with Gavin Newsom and why Joe Rogan isn't interested in talking with him. Every time somebody issues a legitimate critique about how Gavin Newsom runs California, he claps back with, well, we're #1 in all of these categories. But California is #1 in those things despite Gavin Newsom's disastrous tenure. It's not because of Gavin Newsom's policies that California is #1 in all of those things, but California is #1 in things like homelessness, unemployment, illegal immigration because of Gavin Newsom's policies. Gavin Newsom will try to clap back at red state politicians on Twitter saying your crime rate is higher than California's, while obfuscating the fact that only 4% of California counties report data to the FBI. Gavin Newsom policies are spending $200 billion on a high-speed rail project that hasn't laid a single mile of track, where the taxpayers are getting robbed, yet Gavin Newsom and his cronies are certainly getting getting paid. That $200 billion went somewhere. It's in somebody's pockets. Gavin Newsom policies are California being the most unaffordable place in the entire United States. Gavin Newsom policies are California being the epicenter to the illegal immigration crisis and robbing the federal government by providing free health care to illegal aliens. Watch this clip from CNN debunking the lie that illegals don't receive free health care from the government and that California is the main culprit.
Is this a way that Republicans are just using illegal immigrants to deflect the conversation?
And the answer
is yes.
No, it is
it's
not.
yes,
You
because
refuse to look at the facts.
illegal immigrants are not the reason why our healthcare system is broken.
Yeah, it's not deflection at all. In fact, I brought receipts. So here's the CMS, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, right here with their press release earlier this year saying they were having to increase their oversight on states like California who were abusing Medicaid and classifying it as an EUSA, an emergency system, when it wasn't. You've got the average state spends 5% of its Medicaid roughly on emergency services. California, 35 to 40%. Why would that be? Because California passed a state law that says we will fund Medicaid for illegals, and then, oh, by the way, we'll raise our provider taxes, and then, oh, by the way, we'll use that as a match to draw down federal funds. And they're using this whole cavitation process.
An accounting trick to put it on the taxpayer.
Money is fungible, and California's loophole is abusing it.
Everything Gavin Newsom touches turns into a dumpster fire. Gavin Newsom presided over tens of billions of dollars being spent to combat homelessness, yet homelessness in California has skyrocketed under Gavin Newsom's leadership. Gavin Newsom has the opposite of the Midas touch. He has the Gavin touch. And whatever Gavin touches gets exponentially worse, while Gavin, the Pelosi's, and all of his rich friends get richer. And these are the facts. It's just objective truth. But Gavin is allergic to addressing or confronting these facts. He'll just lie and spin everything into a Gavin fact, where actually he's the hero in all of this, and every single policy is a massive success. And that's why Joe Rogan or any other self-respecting person doesn't want to waste their time talking to him. Here's Joe Rogan laying the final smackdown mic drop on Gavin.
I'm debating these sons of bitches. I'm out there on these right-wing shows, so I'm not scared to do that. Where the hell is the Democratic Party? Where's our equivalent of Turning Point USA?
Newsom's team doubled down, repeating the snack-size slap on X. Joe Rogan is a snack-sized podcaster who can't stop talking about me. Obsessed? Crush? No thank you. But is too scared to have me on and let his audience hear the truth.
He's talking some on Twitter. I know. It's like, you think that's going to work? Like, that's so stupid. Like, this is such a bad look. Yeah. It's such a bad choice.
There's a little desperation in it.
But it's just stupid. It's like, this is a bad strategy. Like, I probably would have had him on.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, nah, what are you doing?
There is a fun version where you just do it and cook them. You know?
He'll cook himself.
Governor Newsom has repeatedly said that Democrats need to do a much better job attracting men, especially young men who are often drawn to podcasts. And Aaron, nobody does that better than Joe Rogan. His interview with then candidate Trump last year got 60 million views on YouTube alone.
What Gavin Newsom is doing is the same strategy the Democrats have implemented, which was incredibly unsuccessful. Bashing and attacking people into getting what you want. Call Joe Rogan scared and obsessed while simultaneously still begging to come on his podcast. He's a political hack who wants to take his hair gel and his white teeth on a large platform to expand his name recognition. He just wants to use Joe Rogan's platform, and Joe Rogan knows it. Gavin Newsom's own podcast gets maybe 10% of the views that my channel gets, let alone Joe Rogan's. So he's just desperate to do anything he can to expand his brand leading up to the 2028 presidential election. And Joe Rogan has no interest in sullying his podcast by bringing on the real-life version of American Psycho. But Gavin Newsom's grifting does not stop there. Gavin Newsom, who had a silver spoon upbringing, is now releasing a book where he details his rough, hard, difficult childhood to try and lie and seem more relatable to the American people. Take a look.
This is not, it was never on my bingo card. I didn't grow up saying, one day I'll be this person. It's not a photo on the wall of me meeting someone.
There are people that think that you were that way back in the day.
I think there's well, that's a whole deeper conversation of perception versus reality. And I have a lot of work to do on that. And I'm going to be doing a little more of that with this book. And now it sounds like, oh, here, he's got a book. Of course he's running. Yeah. But truly, I've got a book that I'm putting out next year, early next year, that I've been working on for 4 or 5 years because I can't take the perception of me versus the reality of what I experienced growing up and in my own childhood and my own experiences. So I'm trying to shape-shift that from my perspective, not everyone else's.
What's the biggest misconception about you?
I just think this notion, I don't know where, I know where it comes from, but I think this notion of the silver spoon, I was born into great wealth and privilege, and it's quite the contrary. And I'm not trying to, it's not a racial algebra story. I'm not trying to over-romanticize a contra narrative, but it's remarkable how that perception has dominated so much of the conversation that even my friends have about me. They don't know much about me. And so just for the record, setting it straight for my kids and grandkids, I'm going to be pushing back in that respect.
Everyone thinks I was a spoiled rich kid growing up. Even my friends think I was a spoiled rich kid growing up. That's because you were a spoiled rich kid growing up. But because his disdain for truth and honesty is so grand, he's now engaging in writing a book to manipulate the American people into thinking he was just like Kamala Harris. I grew up in a middle-class family. We had lawns where I'm from. Gavin Newsom's daddy was the lawyer to the billionaire Getty family in California, and that afforded Gavin Newsom all kinds of privileges. And I have no problem with rich people. Most Americans don't. But what we do have a problem with is a contrived and manufactured narrative about how you're just like us. And it's this commitment to being a robotic, empty suit who will say whatever, do whatever, who will even rewrite their own history in the pursuit of political power that people find so disgusting. Gavin Newsom will lament Donald Trump for his unprofessional and childish behavior, and then implement the exact same social media strategy, going as far as copying the way Donald Trump speaks, and say, oh, this isn't unprofessional, we're just mocking Donald Trump. Gavin Newsom will criticize Texas for redistricting, saying how it's eroding democracy, disenfranchising voters, and then do the exact same thing he was criticizing in California, but saying when he does it, it's righteous, it's virtuous. He has no morals or principles, and that's why nobody likes him or trusts him. But the last thing I'm going to show you is Gavin shaking in his boots at the news that Donald Trump is putting election monitors in California to make sure that illegals aren't voting in California's redistricting plan. Take a look.
Obviously, 2024 was a federal election, but the Biden administration said DOJ monitors to 87 different jurisdictions in that election. The California GOP put up this onto X, saying, Governor, if there's nothing to hide or nothing wrong, why the concern in having the DOJ observe? What's wrong with transparency?
Well, let's transparency. Let's have the transparency of what went into their requests, allegedly, of the Department of Justice, the state GOP, and why they picked these particular 5 counties. And what allegations or what assertions and on what basis of fact are they asserting that there's been violations in the past? Why these counties? Why now? Why a statewide election? Very different than other federal elections or elections with candidates on the ballot. This is, again, a proposition. Good people can disagree. They'll be accommodated as everyone should be accommodated. They'll have determinations at the county level with the registrars to the extent they want to cooperate. That's up to them. I'm just arguing for people to keep their eyes wide open at what's going on in the United States of America. I said this months and months ago. What's happening in LA, what's happened in California is a preview of things to come. Watch this space with the DOJ. This is all teed up 2026. Donald Trump does not believe in fair and free elections.
If you consider ICE outside of voting facilities intimidation, that reveals you were banking on an enormous amount of illegal aliens to vote in your favor. Gavin Newsom cheats, he lies, he steals, and he seethes at the idea of people trying to stop his illicit behavior. The Democrat Party is so desperate that they are anointing Gavin Newsom as their guy, despite his track record of ruining San Francisco, of ruining California. And now they're so mad that Donald Trump is restoring law and order and structure in America that they're willing to put Gavin Newsom in charge of the country and ruin that too. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.